Trusting in Allah, SWT 2. In a narration found in Sahih Bukhari, number 5705, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, advised that 70,000 Muslims will enter paradise without reckoning and described their characteristics. The first characteristic is that they do not treat themselves with spiritual incantations. This is when one recites words connected to the Holy Quran or the narrations of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and blows over themselves or others in order to treat a sickness or problem. This method is completely lawful according to many narrations, such as the one found in Sahih Bukhari, number 5741. The unlawful type is when one uses satanic words. Even though lawful incantations are permissible, unfortunately, some Muslims become so engrossed and attached to them that they depend and trust more in them than they trust in Allah, the Exalted. Meaning, they almost behave they will only become cured if they do an incantation, as if the power to heal lies in it. This belief contradicts true trust in Allah, the Exalted, as in reality, the source of everything is Allah, the Exalted, alone. He only chooses to cure some people through means, such as conventional medicine or incantations. A Muslim should never rely so much on incantations, believing without them a successful outcome is not possible. This is similar to the one who recites spiritual exercises, believing if they fail to do so, they will not be protected from illness and misfortune, or they believe they can somehow change one's destiny, which is completely untrue. Allah, the Exalted, protects people, and He can do so with or without spiritual exercises. Meaning, He is not dependent on anything to achieve something. One must instead sincerely obey Allah, the Exalted, by using the means He has provided them, such as medicine, according to Islamic teachings, and rely on Allah, the Exalted, to choose the best outcome for them in every situation. No other has any control in deciding what occurs and should therefore not be feared. Chapter 9 at Tawbah, verse 51.
Say, never will we be struck except by what Allah has decreed for us. He is our protector. And upon Allah let the believers rely.
In addition, engrossing oneself in spiritual incantations often leads to a worse illness than they originally feared, namely, paranoia. Paranoia causes one to think negatively about Allah, the Exalted, and people. This only leads to weakness of faith and damaging one's relationships with others. In addition, the primary goal of Islamic teachings is the practical obedience of Allah, the Exalted, not performing incantations. A Muslim can use lawful incantations, but it is best to understand that the source of help is Allah, the Exalted, and nothing can prevent His help nor aid them if He decides something else for them. Another issue with depending too much on spiritual exercises, such as incantations, is that when these people face difficulties, instead of firstly observing themselves and their behavior to see if they need to change it for the better, and to remain steadfast on the obedience of Allah, the Exalted, patiently waiting for relief, they turn to uneducated and inexperienced people who claim to fix worldly things through spiritual exercises. As indicated earlier, these people only cause a Muslim to adopt an illness which is far worse than their initial problem, namely, paranoia. They convince Muslims that their problems have either been caused by supernatural creatures, such as jinns, or by black magic which someone has used against them. Even though jinns do exist, it is very rare for them to affect people in their worldly matters. This causes Muslims to become severely paranoid and superstitious over petty things, and it even causes them to grow suspicious over their friends and relatives. This only leads to enmity and fractured relationships. It is important for Muslims to strengthen their faith through gaining and acting on Islamic knowledge. This will prevent them from turning to such foolish people who cannot even fix their own problems, let alone fix the problems of others. Strong faith will prevent paranoia affecting them, as they will rely fully on Allah, the Exalted. Strong faith makes a Muslim understand that even if the entire creation desired to harm them, they will not be able to do so unless Allah, the Exalted, allowed it. Similarly, the entire creation could not benefit them unless Allah, the Exalted, willed it. And every case and situation only occurs according to a set and unchangeable plan, namely, destiny. This has been advised throughout Islamic teachings, such as the far-reaching narration found in Jami' at-Tirmidhi, number 2516. Finally, engrossing oneself in spiritual exercises not rooted in Islamic teachings also encourages one to treat the treasury of Allah, the Exalted, like a shop where one buys worldly things from Allah, the Exalted, in exchange for some spiritual exercises. This is a highly disrespectful and insincere attitude to adopt, as the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, are not credit cards which can be used to purchase worldly things such as a child or a visa. One must instead know their place and behave as a sincere slave of Allah, the Exalted, and not act as a customer. They should sincerely obey Him by using the blessings He has granted them in ways pleasing to Him. One is allowed to ask for lawful worldly things from Allah, the Exalted, in a way endorsed by the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, but must avoid other ways, as it leads to misusing the two sources of guidance and adopting a customer-type attitude towards Allah, the Exalted. To conclude, a Muslim should fulfill the primary goal of Islamic teachings by fulfilling the commands of Allah, the Exalted, refraining from His prohibitions, and face destiny with patience according to the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and then rely on Allah, the Exalted, to aid them in all situations. The next characteristic mentioned in the main narration under discussion is that these Muslims do not believe or are influenced by omens. A narration found in Imam Bukhari's Adab al-Mufrad, number 909, warns against paying attention to bad omens, as behaving in this manner is like associating something to Allah, the Exalted, meaning polytheism. Paying attention to evil omens means that it affects one's behavior and actions. Even though black magic and the evil eye are real, it is important to understand that nothing in the universe from the fluttering of a leaf to the sun rising occurs without the choice and will of Allah, the Exalted. Therefore, a Muslim should remain steadfast by not bothering with evil omens or fearing witches and wizards, as they cannot cause something which Allah, the Exalted, has not willed from occurring. Instead, one should remain steadfast on the obedience of Allah, the Exalted, by using the blessings they have been granted in ways pleasing to Him, and continue with their lawful actions and choices, and only seek protection from evil things according to the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, while fully trusting in the support and overpowering choice and decree of Allah, the Exalted.